But there's something much bigger that wraps the whole lot together, and that's the theory of the exponential age. Again, when I came out with the exponential age in 2020, people thought I was nuts. I'm like, this is going to be the fastest growth of technology in all human history. It's going to be the largest change we will ever go through as a species in the shortest period of time. And people thought I was being dramatic. Then AI came, and everyone's like, holy shit. And now the robots are coming, and everyone's like, holy shit squared.
Raoul Pal, in this special edition of The Journeyman, presents a compelling and potentially disruptive thesis. The world as we know it is on the cusp of radical change, driven by the convergence of macroeconomics, cryptocurrency, and exponential technologies, especially artificial intelligence, AI. He argues that we are rapidly approaching an economic singularity, a point beyond 2030 where existing economic and financial frameworks become obsolete. This impending shift presents both significant risk and unparalleled opportunities for investors. Pal emphasizes that the next 6 years are crucial for maximizing wealth before these fundamental changes take hold. Pal's analysis begins with a review of the traditional drivers of GDP growth. In developed nations, including China, population growth is slowing or even declining due to aging demographics. This diminishes a key engine of economic expansion. Productivity gains, typically fueled by technological advancements, are struggling to offset the drag from aging populations. The increase in output per unit of energy, electricity, has not been sufficient to maintain historical growth rates. Pal argues that debt growth, once a significant contributor to economic activity, has essentially stalled since 2008. New debt is primarily used to service existing debt, rather than to stimulate new growth. Before we delve into the video, if you want the latest crypto news, market updates, and expert insights from the top minds in the industry, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Stay informed, stay ahead, and never miss an opportunity in this ever-changing world of the financial market. Thank you for subscribing to our channel.
But there's something much bigger that wraps the whole lot together, and that's the theory of the exponential age. Again, when I came out with the exponential age in 2020, people thought I was nuts. I'm like, this is going to be the fastest growth of technology in all human history. It's going to be the largest change we will ever go through as a species in the shortest period of time. And people thought I was being dramatic. Then AI came, and everyone's like, holy shit. And now the robots are coming, and everyone's like, holy shit squared. And now everyone's trying to figure out what this means for society, how this all works, how to regulate it, what to do, but it's moving at lightning speed. By the time this video comes out, I don't know, maybe ChatGPT, I think the strawberry model, the large model comes out. That's coming out very soon. Again, that'll be another step change. We know there's more releases coming from Google, but really we're already hearing that OpenAI probably trained ChatGPT 5 or ChatGPT Next as it's called, which is a quantum leap yet again, as big as the leap from ChatGPT 1 to ChatGPT 4, when we're getting closer to something like artificial intelligence. And so this video is really about why you've got 6 years left to make as much money as possible before everything we kind of understand about economics, markets, business falls apart. And I can't see beyond that, so I call it the economic singularity. So I think we've got about 6 years for that. It's not a doom date, well, this date it all happens, but it's beyond about 2030 when things are going to become not understandable by using the existing frameworks of economics, financial analysis, markets, and that kind of stuff. So what the fuck am I talking about here? I'm talking about the magic formula. The magic formula for GDP growth is driven... So sorry, I'm just going to go back, is most people look at AI, the rise of AI, and think of it, again, in societal terms. You know, what does it mean for humans, for jobs, and all of that? But I think there are more profound implications that come faster that we need to be aware of, and that's the economic singularity. So GDP growth in the magic formula is driven by population growth, productivity growth, and debt growth. So population growth in all of the developed world, including China, we've got falling, aging demographics. Many populations are now shrinking. The US, due to immigration, is just holding its head above water, but the rate of change of population is collapsing everywhere. So that means that the economic driver of population growth has disappeared. Now, we've seen that in GDP because trend rate of GDP has been falling and falling and falling. And it's gone from, in the US, from like 4% to 1.75%. And across the rest of the developed world, it's fallen even further, in most cases below 1%, matching population growth collapsing in those regions. The other side of the equation is productivity growth. Productivity growth is basically units of output per kilojoule of energy, or in other words, what you get out of your cost of electricity. So if electricity is the kind of the energy that makes the world go round, the economic energy, then we need to see what we get out of that energy. So technology has been the big driver of productivity, but the problem is as populations get older, they become less productive. So it's really been a battle, and technology has not won that battle for quite some time. Then we've had debt growth, and I've talked extensively about debt growth. Debt growth basically stops in 2008, and all debt growth is now is servicing of old debts. So that economic engine's disappeared. If you think about the Chinese economic miracle, that was a massive population of, at the time, I think it was 1.1 billion people back in the mid-90s. And what they did was come into the global labor force. The economy of China opened up. That's a massive GDP push. Productivity, well, they built the roads, the railways, the power plants, and all of the stuff that makes China what it is today. That was a productivity boost. And then they increased debt as well. So we had a huge economic boom in China, which we're now paying back with aging population because of the one-child policy. And we've also got a huge problem on the debt side. So how the hell do we solve this? You see, the everything code will just keep repeating ad infinitum, where we just have to keep debasing currency to try and offset the debt payments because GDP growth is not fast enough. So GDP is kind of the economic cash flow that pays for the debts. If GDP growth is low, interest rates need to be low, which is why the Fed are going to cut and all of those kind of things. But also, as GDP growth goes lower, debt growth keeps ballooning, and you have to keep refinancing all of this debt because there's not enough growth to grow your way out of the debt-based economy. But things started changing at the margin, and it really accelerated over COVID. Firstly, Amazon, I think, now employs more robots than it does humans. And this is a trend I've been pointing out for some time. Humans are cheaper replaced by robots that are more productive. They don't complain, they don't have unions, and over time, they're much, much cheaper. So the rise of the robots is just starting. We're seeing Tesla with its Optimus robot. We're seeing Figure. We're seeing Boston Dynamics. We're seeing a whole bunch of robotics companies. So humanoid robots really start to replace humans because they have dexterity. So they don't have to be for single tasks, much like machine learning was for single tasks, and AI is much broader. We're going to see multitasking robots. So that starts helping bolster the lack of humans in the population. But the robots will take longer to scale. Physical hardware, you have to manufacture it, you have to design it. We're still at early stage of this. So yes, we will see Tesla robots and others coming into, let's say, factories, but in our houses, it's probably 10, 15 years away, but it's coming. Now, the big lever here is AI. AI is basically infinite human knowledge. Now, why the magic formula works is because we've charged for and created an economic system around scarcity of labor and scarcity of knowledge. So as the labor scarcity got solved by the machine age and even the Industrial Revolution, we've seen a transition to service-based economies for humans. So that's where we have adapted and moved into places that don't require our manual labor as much. Sure, there's plenty of manual labor, but it's been moving over time. Now, the issue is knowledge, whether it's simply a person working in a retail store or whether it's a lawyer, surgeon, doctor, accountant, creative designer, brand marketing, anything will soon get replaced by AI. And mainly the models are good enough now to do a lot of that, but over the next 5 or 6 years, these models are going to accelerate. Now, what's interesting is right now, we kind of assume that these models have an IQ of around 100. So they're sort of average human intelligence. But I think that's a bad way of looking at it, because it has an IQ of 100 in every topic known to humanity. So it's a polymath with an IQ of 100 in everything.
Pal discusses how his company, Real Vision, is adapting to the changing landscape by incorporating AI, blockchain, and new business models into its operations. Real Vision aims to provide investors with the knowledge and tools they need to understand and navigate the economic singularity. Raoul Pal's message is clear. The world is undergoing a profound transformation driven by exponential technologies, particularly AI. This transformation will reshape the economy, financial markets, and society as a whole. Investors who understand these trends and adapt their strategies accordingly will be best positioned to succeed in the coming years. Pal's framework provides a valuable starting point for understanding the economic singularity and identifying the opportunities it presents.